The season is pretty much over, so it's a great time to go back and look at the business that some of your favourite clubs did in the summer and how they've turned out. Today though, we're focused on the really awful ones. These are the 10 worst transfers of the 2024-25 season. Can you guess who the number one might be? Take a shot in the comments, we'll see if you're right. Now let the countdown begin. At number 10 is Emile Smith-Rowe. The Arsenal Academy graduate moved to Fulham for €32 million, becoming the most expensive player in Fulham's entire history. He started the season quite well, recording 3 goal involvements in his first 5 appearances, but he just seemed to suddenly drop off, and that led to him losing the trust of the coach and his place in the starting lineup. Right now, he's only started one of the last 5 games for Fulham. He may end up being a good signing for Fulham in the long run, but this season, he's not performed like a club record signing. Now, while Smith-Rowe will get another chance to prove himself at Fulham, we're fairly sure our number 9 on this list, Calvin Phillips, won't, at least not at Ipswich. The midfielder joined the newly promoted side in the summer on loan from Man City, and he's been pretty disappointing so far. This guy was brought in to be the experienced Premier League player who would help and guide the newbies, but he has ended up looking like a novice himself. In his first 7 appearances for the club, he made an error leading to a goal against former club West Ham and then got sent off against Leicester. With a man down in that game, Ipswich lost their 1-goal lead and dropped 2 precious points. And on top of all that, he has had 2 different injuries during his loan spell, further limiting his availability for the team. His only goal contribution for Ipswich came against 3rd-tier Bristol Rovers in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, which means he has 5 times more bookings than goals for Ipswich. Phillips has certainly not been a good signing. And his story is very similar to that of João Palhinha at number 8. But this is worse because Bayern Munich spent a whopping €56 million on the Portuguese midfielder. He wasn't exactly the first name on the team sheet after he joined, but he then went and picked up an injury to make himself unavailable for most of the season. He tore a muscle and was unavailable for 2 months, only to return and go back to being unavailable due to illness. He returned from that and then picked up a red card in his 2nd game back to pretty much cost Bayern the game, and his first game back after the suspension, he came off the bench and received a yellow card just 6 minutes later. Despite all the cash that was paid for him, Palhinha has been on the bench for Bayern's most important games, including both Champions League quarter-final games against Inter and league games against Eintracht Frankfurt and Dortmund. He also played a total of 7 minutes in both legs against Leverkusen in the round of 16 in the Champions League. This has not been a good signing, my friends, and the fans are not happy. Now, number 7 is a funny one, Raphael Varane. Do you guys remember this guy's signing for Como last summer? The newly promoted Serie A club thought that they were getting an experienced World Cup and Champions League winning defender, only for him to go and pick up a knee injury in his very first game for the club. Long story short, he didn't recover. In August, he was excluded from the team's Serie A squad, and in September, he retired from football altogether.
Former Real Madrid and Manchester United defender Raphael Varane has retired from football at the age of just 31.
That was certainly not how Como fans hoped the transfer would end up. Luckily, they didn't pay anything for him. Another transfer which was ruined by injury was that of Federico Chiesa, and he's in at number 6 today. He's been in the hospital more times than he's been on the pitch for Liverpool this season. He has played a total of 33 Premier League minutes this season. Do you know how crazy that is? The Reds are just lucky that Salah didn't pick up an injury, because it would have been really disastrous for them. And you know what's even funnier? Each time Chiesa has played a full 90 minutes, Liverpool have lost. Against PSV in the Champions League and against Plymouth Argyle in the FA Cup. This is certainly not how Liverpool fans hoped their only transfer of the entire season would go. Now let's get into the top 5, but just before we do, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Now, in at number 5 is Raheem Sterling. The English winger joined Arsenal on loan from Chelsea last summer, and he seemed to quickly enter Arteta's black book. After a couple of bad performances, Arteta gave up on him. Even when the coach obviously needs to rest his players, he still won't play Sterling. He'd rather play Tierney on the wing. He's played a total of 369 minutes in the Premier League this season, which is equivalent to approximately 4 full matches. What makes this transfer worse than the Chiesa one is that Sterling's signing came with a lot of expectation. With his experience in the Premier League, Gunners expected he'd offer a lot more and help with their title push. Instead, they're seeing midfielders and defenders playing in attack over him. Pretty disappointing. And number 4 is Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. The thing about this signing is that everyone knew from the jump that Chelsea didn't need him, especially with Enzo and Caicedo already in the team. But Maresca seemed to like him so much from his time at Leicester that he gave his former club €35 million for him. Well, that's 35 million down the drain because the midfielder just has not been good enough. He's played a total of 253 Premier League minutes all season, an equivalent to approximately 3 full matches. The large chunk of his game time has come in the Conference League, and that's only because Chelsea, being clear favourites, have almost always played their second string in that competition. As it stands, the club is already thinking of getting rid of him in the summer, but somehow this is still not the worst signing Chelsea made this season. Can you guess who the other guy is and where he ranks in this video? Give it a shot in the comments and we'll see if you're right very soon. But now, to usher us into the top 3 is Eddie Nketiah. He was signed from Arsenal for about €30 million last summer, making him the second most expensive player in Crystal Palace history. But his performances on the pitch have just not reflected that cost. It took him 6 months to get his first Premier League goal for the club, and just when fans thought that would be the beginning of a great run, he went and got his first red card just 3 games after that. He's been a pretty disappointing signing for the Eagles, and it's worse when you compare him to Ismaila Sarr. Palace signed the Senegalese forward in the same window for half the price of Nketiah, but Sarr has been much better, having been directly involved in 12 goals in the Premier League alone. This season, Nketiah has not been a very good signing, but we don't completely write him off. Moving on to number 2, we have Douglas Luiz. Juventus paid €51.5 million for the Brazilian in the summer, but he's barely played for them. He has played just 479 Serie A minutes this season, an equivalent of just a little over 5 full games, and he's still not scored any goals or provide any assists in any competition for La Signora. Considering he was involved in 20 goals for Villa last season, this is definitely something to be worried about. His injuries have not made the signing any better. He missed about 6 weeks due to muscle injuries and then missed another month due to a hamstring problem. Safe to say Juventus have definitely not seen any returns on their investment. Now we have finally come to the number 1. The worst transfer of the 2024-25 season has to be none other than João Felix. From the very beginning of the whole story, it looked like a really dodgy signing. Chelsea initially wanted Samu Aguiawa from Atletico, but just when they thought everything had been completed, the deal fell through and the Blues were forced to sign João Felix from Atletico instead, in exchange for Gallagher going in the opposite direction. As you know, Felix hardly featured in the Premier League for Chelsea. He started just 3 games and was hardly even first off the bench, so he began to complain that he wanted more game time, which led to him being loaned out to Milan in January. And this is a sort of double whammy because not only is he a bad signing for Chelsea, he's also a bad signing for Milan. After a decent debut when he came off the bench and scored, he's been very disappointing ever since. Looking at his performances on the pitch tell us how bad Felix's transfer was, but it gets even worse when you examine the finer details. Chelsea agreed to pay €52 million for him and then signed him on a 7-year deal. You realise how mad that is. Now both Milan and Chelsea already seem tired of him, but with that contract it might be a little difficult for the Blues to get rid of him this summer. It's hard to name a transfer that's proven to be worse than that all season. An honourable mention is Odsonne Edouard. Honestly, who knows what happened to this guy? Leicester signed him from Palace on loan last summer, but he's hardly even had a sniff. This season he's played more Premier League minutes for Palace than for Leicester. He left Palace in August. He's not even made the matchday squad for Leicester since December. I mean, how bad could he be that he can't even make the squad at a relegation-threatened Leicester City, who've been struggling to score all season? Something has definitely gone on there. We just don't know what. Anyway, do you agree with our list? For you, who has been the worst transfer of the 2024-25 season? Tell us in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on amazing content like this, and we'll catch you in the next one.